Yes, people. Hope everyone's well. Had a pretty hard week. A lot of difficulties and a lot of things that have happened. But when you go through times like this, when life seems to get difficult and hard, and you get forced to adapt to situations that you just didn't see coming, and things really take you by surprise, you always get enlightened to how well you can adapt to situations. One thing adversity has taught me throughout life is that I'm very extremely adaptable, and you always find a way, and you kind of fit into the groove of life when life gets hard, and when things are coming at you left, right, center, and things aren't going your way, and suffering's becoming a burden on you. You realize that within you is the capability to get lost with it, and to just get stuck in, and to move, and just to move on, and just to do things, and just to be there, and to turn up. And I often find in times when my life is too easy, and things are going slower and not as difficult, I then begin to get that question in mind, where I'm questioning what my purpose is, what am I doing here, what do I do in my day. But when life hits you hard, and things happen that are difficult to deal with, regardless of how difficult they are, you seem to know what to do in the moment. And I think it's because things are coming at you that you learn how to meet the demands of life, instead of looking out and searching for what the meaning is, or searching for what your purpose is. Things are just happening to you at such a rapid rate, and all these things are so intense, the emotions that arise and the experiences that happen, that you get forced to meet it. It's rather you meet it and you match it, or you hide away and cower. And it just doesn't seem an option for me to hide away and cower. It's you have to meet the demands of life. You have to be there and turn up to what is going on in the current situation. And it's one thing I try and find a bit of gratitude within suffering and with hard times, and it's at least it's revealing what's the capabilities and the potentials that are within me. And that doesn't make the suffering easier, it doesn't make the hard times easier, but it's wow, look how I adapt, and look at how I'm moving through it. And even if your adaptation, even if your process of meeting the demands of life isn't perfect, even if it's not going well, at least it reveals things about you. There's opportunity for growth. There's opportunity for moments of clarity, and seeing more of yourself. And hardship can reveal a lot about yourself that you didn't know was there. I liken the idea just of stepping into the suffering and kind of meeting it head on, and just adapting with it and flowing with it. Not resisting it, not trying to crunch it or pretend it's not there, or to battle it or to fight it, but just letting it come to you and embodying it. And it's how can I flow with this? How can I be adaptable to this? And situations happen in your life where you have to learn how to be there for someone, or to do certain things, to work a bit extra harder, to really be disciplined. And there's all these different scenarios and these different calls that you get that emerge upon you, and you have to step into it and meet it. And one thing I've learned from the past week, where I've had an extremely hard week, a lot of really difficult moments, is that there's a masculine character that you can step into, someone who you embody, which doesn't always come out when the necessity's not there. And then it becomes apparent to me that there is a lot of growth within necessity, and people who have life too easy, people who have everything given to them, people who go through life without pushing their boundaries and pushing what it's like and what they're capable of, or just by living hard lives. And people who don't do that really never grow, because they don't have the necessity on them. They can sit within the comfort, and you sit within the comfort of your own identity. You know who you are, and you don't have to expand the barriers of that, the box of reference that you framed your identity in. If it's getting no stress upon it, then you're never testing it, and you've got to test your identity out into the world, and through that, the parts of your psyche reveal themselves, and then you integrate that into more of an ego strength of who you think you are, of who your concept of who you are. And it's like it's a dance between the universe out there and the universe within here. And out there is kind of pulling things out of you, and you're watching how you react and what emotions arise and the thought process to what's going on out there. And you become aware of that, you integrate it, and through that you can change. It's like paradoxical. If you try and change, if you just try consciously change, it never works. But when you, and like, I mean by will, when you just think, I'm just going to do this, and there's not been any like integration into it, or there's not been any awareness into it, you're just like following societal pressures, or you're working out of a pathology or neurosis, like you're just aiming towards something for the sake of aiming towards something. But when you change through acceptance of like watching how you adapt to the world, and just like being aware of that and admitting to yourself and being responsible for your actions, then there's change within that. And it's the paradox of change, which is you have to accept that you can't change to be able to change. And so, yeah, if you're going through hard times, if you're going through like a difficult period, and it looks different for so many different people. I've had periods in my life where it's been more of a mental battle. It's been more of the anxiety that I experience, especially when I look back at social anxiety and how that felt for me. Or there's times in my life where, like, it's been the last week where I've had something external that's happened that is like really like it's soul wrenching, and then you have to learn to deal with that. And there's different forms, but whatever your suffering is, like you've got this. Like you are capable of evolving through things, and even if your reactions and the way you're behaving and the context of your mind aren't good right now, that doesn't mean there's not room for improvement and growth and change. You just need to accept how you're dealing with things and what's happening, and then through that acceptance there becomes a courage to change. But deep embedded in that courage is buried in there. And I think that's everything I've got to say, guys. I'm struggling to articulate myself today just because I've had such a busy week. But I hope everyone's doing well. And if you're going through hard times, like, it's going to be okay. Like, you always pull yourself out of it, and you always work your way around it, and life moves on. The sun always rises. And you've just got to learn to just flow with it in the tough times, flow with it in the good times, and just ride the waves of life. Because that is how life works. It's a balance between order and chaos, and you've got to you're like a pendulum. You swing from one end to the other, but if you look at the main heat map, it's always in the middle, and you've just got to be willing to swing side to side to come back to the center of gravity and your center of courage. So thank you very much for listening, people, and I'll see you all in the next episode.